Welcome, crafters. My name is Larry. Today I'm going to show you how to take a PNG, a colored PNG image and convert it to a SVG file using Inkscape. And we're going to convert it into layers for Design Space. So for today's example, I've got a file here that I did for a lady on one of the groups. And I'm just going to open that into Inkscape and bring that in here. And before we get started, however, you probably need to go into your document properties. I've changed mine to make sure that it's set to US letter inches, 8.5 by 11. And I changed my colors for my page and my border to be a lighter color to work with. By default, this will come up all white, and because it's all white, it's hard to distinguish when you have an image that has white in it. So I changed those colors before I start my projects. So once we have the image on our works area, we want to go to the Path menu and select Trace Bitmap. Now, by default, Trace Bitmap comes up in single scan mode, which would convert this to black and white, like a silhouette. And if you have the live updates checked, you'll be able to see that image when you click on it to preview it as to what these settings are doing. And by default, with the single scan, you can change the threshold to get more or less of the image that you want to convert to a vector graphic. But because we're doing colored images, I'm going to select the multicolor tab. I'm going to change the detection mode from brightness steps to colors. And we're going to change the number of scans to the number of colors that we have. And so if you start out at 2 and you work your way up, you'll see that we have 4 colors. So 4 scans is all we need. I will leave the other options by default. You can remove the background if you don't want it, but in our case, we're going to leave that there because it's needed for the white around the lettering of the word canes. So now you just click apply. And when you do that, you will not notice anything actually happen. But if you put your mouse over the image, click on your left mouse and drag to the right, you'll see 2 images, your original on the left and the one that was converted to a vector graphic, to paths, which is what is needed by your Design Space cutters. So if you want to know for sure which one is which, you can come over here to the left panel and select Edit Paths by Nodes, or N on your keyboard. And then when you mouse over or click on an image that has been converted, you'll see all of these little square nodes. And if you click on the image, the original image, you will not see those. So that's how you can tell the 2 apart. We go back to the top selection, which is our select tool. Select our original graphics and delete that because we do not need that anymore. You can do delete from the edit menu, or you can do it from the delete key on your keyboard. Now we're just going to move this back into the center of our work area. And we're done with the trace bitmap function. So the next step we want to do is go over to our layer section, layer menu, and go to layers and objects. And if you don't see these paths showing up here, because some versions of Inkscape had a little bug in it, you can go click on the rectangle tool and just draw something on the key on the work surface, and it will show up in the layers panel will become active, and then you can delete it. So if we go through and turn the little eyeball off on each one of these layers to where we have nothing in place, and then turn them on one at a time, we can see that this top layer here, this path number 7708, that's black. Path 7710 has got another color in it, like kind of a light bluish color. And if you were to select the Node by Paths tool and you kind of mouse over that image, you'll see that we have a lot of artifacts. That's bleed through from the different colors when Trace Bitmap did its work. And we're going to need to clean that up, but I'll come back to that in a moment. So we're going to bring the next path up, 7712, and we'll see that it also has this bleed through on it because of the trace bitmap function, and we're going to have to clean that up. And the last image is white, the white background, and that one does not need any cleanup at all. So we're good to go on the white. So let's go back to our first path that has some cleanup that needs to be done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a second layer. So we're going to go up here and create a new layer. We'll call it layer 2. And I want to drag this path up to layer 2. That's where I want to work on it. And we'll go back up to the main select tool. And we'll turn this layer on so that we can see it. Both of the eyeballs are set. And we'll click on this layer, and then we'll go up to path, and we're going to do break apart. So when it breaks it apart, it breaks it into individual paths. There's a lot of them. We only want the paths for the cutter to make. We don't want all of those artifacts in it. So I'm going to click outside, and then one by one, I'm going to click and select one of the areas that I want to keep. And while that's selected, I'll hold the shift key down while I select additional paths that I want to keep. So I want to keep that one. I want to keep this one. I want to keep this one, and maybe some of these here. Probably don't need to keep all of those, but we'll go ahead and select those. And so now we have everything selected that we want to keep, and they're highlighted in blue over here. So the next step we need to do is go to path and do a union. And that is going to bring everything together and can put it into one path, path number 7872. That's the one I want to keep. So I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to say move this to layer number 1. Now we don't need layer 2 anymore. We can actually just delete that. And now that layer 1 is here, we can move that back underneath where it originally came from. And if we turned on our image now, we have no artifacts in it. It's clean. And if we turn back this one, image on, we see that yes, it has artifacts in it. Needs to be cleaned up. So let's go ahead and create layer 2 again. That should have been above. Okay. And then we're going to move this one to layer number 2. And we're going to repeat what we did before. We're going to go to the path menu. We're going to select break apart. And then we're going to click outside and we're going to start selecting the pieces that we want to keep. Just like we did before, these are the pieces that we want our cutter to cut out. That's all of them right there. And if you'll notice over here, you have multiple ones selected. We want to bring that into one, so we're going to do Path Union. And then we go find the one that's selected. It's right there. We're going to do a right click on that. And we're going to move that to layer 1. Okay. And now we're done with layer 2. We can delete it. Delete layer 2. And we can move this one by dragging it back to where it was in the layered position. So when you bring this into Design Space, it's going to be in the layered order of white on the bottom. This color is going to, okay, let's turn all these on again. So it'll be white on the bottom, and then this color here, and then this color here. So now we've completed converting our original raster file into a Scalable Vector Graphics, SVG. We need to save that file now. So we're going to go to File, Save As, and we want to select plain SVG, not Inkscape SVG. And then we can select the file name we want to call it. And I've already got it on here, but we'll rename it. We'll just click over it. We'll replace it. And now you have your Scalable Vector Graphics to use in your Cricut Design Space. So, oops, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. I want to get out of there. Cancel. Let's do a new project. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Upload. I've already got the project in here, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that so that we use the newest one. And we're going to add that to our canvas. And I don't know if I did the upload. I was supposed to do the upload if I didn't. So here's our image, and here are the layers. Again, the white layers on the bottom and working up towards the black layer. Now, you can turn off all of the images and turn them on one by one. And if you do, you'll see we missed some images here. And I think this is because this was my old one. I'm going to actually do this. Let's turn everything on and delete it. Let's delete all this because I didn't actually upload this latest one. Let's delete that. Let's do an upload. Let's do tutorial. And I see on this one, I actually missed something I forgot to select. So we would have to go back and correct that, but we'll assume that we got it. Add that to the canvas. And you can see that it is scalable to any size without losing any quality. And if you want to see the difference between the white, you can come down here and select blank canvas, go up to your color. You can select a different color for your background. And that way you can see for sure what is white and what is transparent. So if we turn off the white and I'm going to turn off the black, and I'm just going to turn this one color on. I wanted to check to see if I got rid of the artifacts, which I did. And then we'll check this one here, and we got rid of the artifacts. So had I actually selected this one when we were going through the process, all of this would be clean and be ready to go ahead and make your project. So turning everything on and going to make it, you'll see that it's going to create 4 different mats for you. Let's go back. Let's scale that down to where it's on a 12 by 12 mat. And so you see we have our 4 different mats. Now, if you did need to clean something up, let's just say, let's turn everything off here. And let's say there's a little bit of an artifact right here that we might want to clean up. You can select this layer and go down to contour. And then you could either hide all layers and just select what you want, or you could just click on the pieces that you want to get rid of. Whoops, I didn't want to do that one. So I think this was in the original. Partly, I didn't clean up something quite good enough. But you could do hide all contours, and then, yeah, I see we've got some stuff here that didn't clean up very well. Probably won't show up because those are in a layer that's going to be overlaid by the layer on top of it. So it really isn't going to hurt anything. So anyhow, that is that's how you create scalable vector graphics with layered images, layered color images for Design Space using Inkscape. And if you have any questions or need to contact me for more questions, you can email me at larryfortna@gmail.com. That's LARRYFORTNA@gmail.com. I hope you've enjoyed the video and gotten something out of it. And if you did, you might want to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching.